Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great time at Microsoft Build. This is Aditya Ramnathkar, Product Marketing Manager, and today I'm joined by Beth Pan and Nikola Metulev, who are Principal Software Engineers. We are all a part of the Windows platform team. In the keynote this morning, you saw how we are making Windows the best OS for developers. We have optimized the Windows 11 experience to be developer-first and distraction-free. We are shipping a ton of developer goodness this week. Core Utils, native Linux containers with WSL, one command environment setup with developer configurations, agent-augmented coding with Windows development skills and intelligent terminal. And lastly, next-generation hardware, purpose-built for local AI and sustainable workloads. All of these designed to make you build and ship faster on Windows. Let's take a dig into each of these. Beth has been talking to developers, getting their feedback on what is the experience to get started on Windows, and we'd love to hear from her.
So we've talked to a lot of developers in the past couple of years. We've heard a lot of your feedback. This is why we're doing these things. One of the main pain points from our developer audience has always been, why is my machine needs a lot of updates and setup, and how do I get to the clean state that there's no distractions, that I can have everything that I need and just ready to go, and I can be productive. So as Aditya said, that we're gonna, if you're a developer and you come into Windows, we're gonna offer you a way to set up your machine to remove all the distractions that you've been asking us to do, or to remove, and then installing everything that might be useful for you. So tell me, what are you guys' favorite developer configurations or apps?
I love 𝗬𝗲𝗀𝗏. I just use it every day.
Of course.
I just use all the tools whenever I need them. I want them to be available. So Git, Python, Node, I use all of them.
All the tools.
All of them, I want all of them.
You're going to get all of them. So Python, Node, NVM, and 𝗬𝗲𝗀𝗏, we have a lot of these apps that's going to be installed through this WinGet configuration file that we're going to publish. And you can see on my screen here, it is a GitHub repo that will be public. And then our developer friends, if you want to fork this, configure it however your way, it'll be flexible.
Is there an option to add any other tools?
Of course. Okay. That's the whole point of WinGet configuration. Any other questions?
Right, so I can take this file now, and I can just run it through WinGet, and I can install all the tools that we recommend for developers they might need. So it installs Git, installs Node. What else does it install?
It is kind of like a, how do you call it, opinionated way that we think what's important for developers. For example, we don't need you to turn on developer mode anymore. You don't have to turn on developer mode anymore. Dark mode configuration, things like hidden files like File Explorer, some of the configurations there. There's a full list of things that you can see. I can go back if we want to see the README and see the list of applications that's going to be here.
So I don't need to go to settings anymore and do that one by one?
Nope.
I can just run a WinGet configure?
Correct.
Awesome.
Now my understanding is that this is by default going to be on some of our new devices we announced today. And this is for developers that might want to set up their existing devices with all the new tooling and existing tooling.
That's a great call out.
Right.
So if you're coming into Windows to our shiny new boxes, right, this is just going to be set up for you as a developer. If you want to, compatibility is something that we treat very seriously on, or with, English is hard, then you can use this WinGet configuration by yourself.
Awesome. And today it is generally available, so try it out now.
Right.
What next, Beth?
Since we're talking about setting up developer devices, let's say that I have a machine that I set up today. What do I do? I feel like as a developer, I will go to terminal to see what's going on there. So today, we're making it available for people to use all these cool Linux-style commands, core utilities, in terminal. Remember this thing that you've been asking for? Here again, you asked, we listened. Now you can do grep within terminal itself.
Finally.
For example, this is a very simple demo that I can just check my netstat status. And something else that I find very interesting is, let's say that you want to do some sort of PowerShell, and then I grab something after it. So this is an example of merging these two kind of systems together.
Right, so now if you're copying some code from, let's say, Stack Overflow,
right,
or you're getting some scripts from GitHub that might have been written for Unix or Mac or Linux,
Yep.
they will work if they're using all these Core Utils because they will also be available on Windows that
Yeah.
you can make available. So you don't have to go and translate it to PowerShell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Any other questions, class?
That's great.
I think we're going to move on to, since we're talking about Linux, Unix commands, let's talk about WSL as well.
Sure. So as we all know, containers are a core part of modern development workflows. And to make that experience seamless on Windows, today we are introducing WSL containers, a built-in way to create, run, and interact with containers directly on Windows. So whether you're working on local development, AI/ML workflows, or even containerized testing, Linux containers just work natively on Windows out of the box. As a part of WSL containers, we are shipping WSLC, which is a binary that you can use to create, run, and interact with containers directly without having to install any third-party tools or require additional tooling efforts. This all ships with the standard WSL update, so you don't have to do any other configurations apart from just updating to the latest version.
Oh, awesome.
And it is as simple to use as just listing your existing containers. So you can see WSLC container ls. Easier, it shows me if I have one container running. I can go into that by attaching it to the container. And then I'm gone into my Linux shell. I can just do all my Linux workloads. When I am done, I can come out of the shell and just detach it and then quickly see the status again or work as needed depending on my workflows.
And this is feedback we've been receiving from developers for a very long time of being able to just natively run containers inside of Windows. But the thing that really excites me here that you mentioned is also that we also support this as an API, right? Which enables usage of these containers inside of applications, which now means that I can have a native application that has native UI, it's running WinUI or WPF or whatever it is, but it could also have a Linux container as part of it.
Yep.
So you could mix this Linux code that you might be using across platform, but it's not running natively inside of your Windows machine, next to your native code for Windows, which opens up all these possibilities for creating this incredible experiences.
And with that, we're also allowing some new controls for enterprises to manage these Linux containers so that they have visibility and observability to all the amazing work that the developers are doing in their enterprises. So that's
All right. So we've talked about setting up your machine. We went to terminal and talked about core utilities, and we talked about WSL. Kind of naturally transition into building apps on Windows and now building apps for Windows. Nikola, do you have a?
Right, so as part of the work that we're doing here and stuff that we announced today at the keynote is we're making it really easy for developers to build Windows applications with AI tools, so either using GitHub Copilot or using Cloud Code. So for example, here I have GitHub Copilot open on my machine, and some of the things that we announced is a new set of agents and skills for WinUI development or Windows development in general. So for example, here I have installed a plugin called WinUI. So if I list all my plugins installed here, you'll see we have this new WinUI plugin right there that's installed. This comes with several skills and agents. So you can see here we have all these WinUI new skills that exist as part of this.
Cool.
That do things like, hey, packaging or code review or design that bring all that back together. The interesting thing about this is not just about Markdown, right? Anybody can just create a Markdown file and call it a skill. As part of the work that we're doing here, we're creating a set of tools that agents can use to make it really easy for them to develop Windows applications end to end. And through this process, we're able to save over 70% of tokens that we can measure. So that we're saving a lot of the cost when using these AI tools to build Windows applications.
There used to be a lot of steps, right? Around like how you're actually writing your code before. It's like templates, initiation. Is that what you're doing now? And then all of the packaging, identity. Great. Show us.
Exactly.
Agent will take care of that for me?
Right, so before, it wasn't that easy to do those things. You have to use Visual Studio for a lot of these different things. So an agent wasn't able to go and use a terminal to be able to run a packaged applications or add identity to a running application. So what we've done here, we've added a new CLI called the WinApp CLI we announced earlier this year. You can just install it through WinGet with just WinGet install WinApp. And you'll be able to do a lot of these different commands as part of that. So you can do things like packaging directly from just a folder. You can package it as an MSIX. Or you want to run an application directly with identity, you can do that quickly. Like for example, I have a Rust application here. This is just a Rust console application that I've created here. And I can just simply WinApp run the application here, and it will run this Rust-based console application and it will immediately give it package identity, so you can use those APIs like a lot of the notification APIs, or you can use a lot of the AI APIs that we have in there directly from here. No Visual Studio required.
And I don't have to learn all the nitty-gritty of the whole Microsoft system if I'm a Rust developer.
Exactly. You continue developing with the framework that you're already using.
But it's best.
Exactly. But you can extend it with the existing APIs really quickly without having to use a lot of the other tools.
And I love the name. I love the name, by the way. WinApp.
Yeah. Thank you. We also added some other features to our skills to be able to make it easier for them to build Windows applications. For example, we now have new .NET New templates for WinUI, so an agent can create new WinUI application as well as users, and be able to get started quickly with the best practices in mind, so you don't have to guess on how to build an application. And through the integration with WinApp, we can now also run these applications directly from the terminal. So now you can run a fully packaged application directly from the terminal, WinUI application in this case.
So I no longer need to open VS Code at all?
You don't have to, it's up to you, but you can do everything here. And the whole idea is that now an agent can fully build an application from creating it through debugging issues. We have tools here for figuring out the stack traces for when something went wrong. We have tools for figuring out what code you should use, what controls you should use. We connect the agents to samples so they can know what the best practices are. And one of my favorite things here that we do also, we have a utility for interacting with Windows applications. So if you use the WinApp UI tooling, for example, you can inspect running applications. In this case, I have Notepad that's running here on the side. And you can see here, I can see all the buttons and everything that's as part of that application. And I can even from the terminal, I can invoke that button there.
It looks at the visual tree and
exactly.
The interaction.
Right, it can take screenshots, so as an agent, it knows when something's functionally working, so it can, on its own, fix issues, and it can catch those type of issues.
Iterations.
That's right.
That sounds really exciting. How can I get started?
The best way to get started is just to go on aka.ms/WinUI skills, and you will to download our skills, or you can download the WinApp CLI on its own. But there's one more thing I want to show you here that we announced today, which is the Intelligent Terminal. The Intelligent Terminal is this fork of the Windows terminal that we all know and love that has some experimental features of integrating agents directly in it. So it's a different, I have them side by side here. You can see here I have two different terminals running. And you can see this one has this little nice cute icon on the bottom. But for example, let's say I'm here and I run a command that errors out. In this case, I probably forgot how to type something or I mistype it. You'll see here that this terminal now can actually analyze that when an error happened, and it can allow me to say, okay, we know how to fix this. You probably just meant to add the force attribute there. Or I can open up directly into the attached, included agent view as well, and I can interact and I can ask it to do things. I can just say, fix it for me, and it will just go in magically. Has context of all the running commands that I've ran across all my tabs. It comes with Copilot already built in, but I can connect it to Claude if I want it in here, or other agents as well, and I can experiment. So experimental, we love people to give us feedback on this.
I assume it's going to ask me for permissions to do these things, right?
Of course, it's all permission-based. You have to approve to access all your commands. You have approved to actually run commands for you. You can't just do it. But again, it's experimental. You have to install it side by side and try it out and give us feedback.
So what if I don't use GitHub Copilot? Can I add other agents as well?
Right, exactly. So you can bring in any agent that you have as part of it.
Wow.
You use the same protocol that all these agents use, and you can tie it into here. You can just go to settings and set it all up.
I don't have to remember how to cherry pick things anymore.
Right, that's one of my biggest things I go to online searching is for Git issues. Whenever something happens and my state is in the wrong whatever, I have to always go, how do I reset back without losing any of my changes? What is the command I need to use? I never remember. I can just ask it in line without losing context and knows what I'm doing.
Good deal.
I'll just do it.
That's going to be such a great productivity hack.
Right?
I can't wait to get started on that.
Exactly.
Cool.
Okay, so along with all these software optimizations that are available to all Windows 11 devices, today we also introduced Surface RTX Spark DevBox. It is a developer-first GPU machine coming with the new NVIDIA RTX Spark that provides up to 1 petaflop of AI compute and 128 GB of unified memory access.
I'm getting that on day one.
That's great. And it also comes optimized with all our amazing developer tools already available by default.
Right.
What's that meme? Shut up and take my money.
Okay, let's roll the video.
cold to you, like water to the moon. You swell and I monsoon, only when you want to. Skies are falling, but I loved you still. Now I wonder, did you really ever love me? Dining on me only when I'm good. Now that I'm gone, what do you think about me? Do you think about me? Think about me? What do you think about? Everything's in bloom.
Awesome. I think we've talked about a lot of the things today that we talked about is actually based off of our developer audience's feedback. We call it voice of developer. We treat that very seriously. Some of them takes a long time to come out as well. We'll do a good job in the future as well to go take our communities with us and build a great Windows environment for our developers.
Yeah. And we have shipped a lot of developer goodness today, so we'll love for all our developer community to go try out these and integrate them in your workflows and let us know what you think about it.
Cool. I think that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.